Okay, we are hitting the mall today because we're gonna do a little bit of an anti-haul. I want to go to Sephora. I want to look at things in person. We're gonna use the information gathered in person to decide what it is that I'm going to add to my wish list and what I am definitely not going to be considering buying during the sale. So let's go. The milk skin tint is like remarkably thick and the coverage on it is really high. That's definitely not something that I'm looking for in a skin tint. It's more of like a foundation to me. Tarte has been a brand that I have refused to shop with in like 10 years. Like I just won't do it. Maracuja Juicy lip balms have been like pretty viral, but I just refuse to buy them. Like I just won't do it. Just because of how controversial Tarte is as a brand. I just don't want to actually shop them. Powders are another thing that I will not be purchasing during the sale, just because I'm pretty undecided with the powders that I currently have in my collection, and I have 4 of them. So I have a couple of pressed powders, and then I also have a couple of loose powders, and I don't know exactly what I want out of a powder yet. So the Tower 28 powders I've heard really good things about, and I've also seen everybody talking about the Kosas powders, but honestly I don't need powder, so I'm not going to be purchasing them. It's not that they're not in my vision sight, although the Kosas ones I don't think I have any interest in. They're talc free, don't care about that. So but that's just something that I won't be picking up during the sale. Patrick Ta, the new blushes, my Sephora finally has them, and now that I'm swatching them in store, the shades that I thought I would go for aren't actually ones that I would go for. I think the only one I would pick up is She Knows Who She Is, but honestly, I just purchased cream blushes from a Canadian-owned brand, and honestly, I am so good off of any other blush. I don't need anything else. Phytosurgence is where it's at. I will just continue to buy my blushes from them, but that's not to say that I'm not tempted by the Patrick Ta one. As we know, this is like my favorite bronzing product at the moment, but I will not be picking one up during the sale just because I still have plenty left, so there's no sense in me getting a backup of this because I feel like I will have it until probably the next sale. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't interested in the Tower 28 blushes. I think the shades that they released for these are very different compared to other powder blushes that are releasing right now, but I don't really wear powder blush that much, so it wouldn't really make sense for me to buy any of these. So this is what a few of them look like swatched. The top is Sawtell Slushy, then it's Samo Spritzer, and then Culver Crush, and then Feliz Fresco is that like super bright one. I think if I were to pick one up, it would probably be Samo Spritzer, just because I've been really into the more like brown tone blushes recently, but the lights in here are trash, so it's not really doing them justice. These Ilia shadow sticks, they may have gotten me. I thought for sure that I would be like, yeah, no. But Bettina, the lilac shade, and then the other one was Venetian. Those are so beautiful, but I don't think I'm gonna pick them up during the sale. I think I can wait. I do have an eyeshadow palette from NARS that I could probably get the same use out of, but I don't know, with the shadow sticks it's so easy. It's just like one and done. With an actual eyeshadow I'd have to put down like a primer. This is not very anti-haul of me. Another thing I will not be picking up during the sale is perfumes, even though I really like Golden Rule and Vanilla Skin. Heavy Cream smells really nice as well, but I do still have a pretty full bottle of my Vanilla Skin body mist, and then I also have a bunch of like Kayali Vanilla 28 perfume. I have a travel size, actually, where is it? Of the Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. I still have a travel size of that. I have a lot of perfume that I kind of need to get through, so I feel like before I can finish at least like 2 travel sizes or 1 full bottle, I will not be purchasing any more perfume. Hi, so we're in my house now. That footage is from yesterday. I tried getting to the mall early enough where there wouldn't be too many people around, and I wanted to make sure that when I was filming I wasn't getting like employees in the video shots or any other customers, but that was getting kind of hard while I was there filming. And honestly, filming in public is quite nerve-wracking. I was getting a little bit shy and uncomfortable. I kept trying to like go to places where people wouldn't really be, and then again trying not to get people in the camera. It was really hard. I was filming by myself. Anyway, I'm just going to interject, kind of fill in some of the cracks of what this video is. Basically, we've already seen some footage of me going through some items in Sephora. What I want to focus on though are like some of the new releases that we've been seeing. So for example, I showed the Kosas powder, and that's something that I won't be picking up because I have plenty of powders. So it doesn't really make sense for me to purchase a powder that I don't necessarily need. And also, if you look at the swatch, I tried showing it, but there's a lot of like a glimmer to it, and I think it's because it's supposed to still keep your shine throughout the day, which I don't really like the idea of that. And I also mainly use powders to set my under eye, so I don't really want something like shimmery on my under eyes, if you know what I mean. Let's get into the rest of kind of like the anti-haul of what this video is. So another new release that just came out are the Merit lip liners and also the lip glosses. So I'm actually really glad that I swatched these in person because I was actually very confused over what this lip liner was. I guess I didn't realize, but in the name, it literally says sheer lip liner. And the way that it's being marketed is it's a lip liner for people that don't want to wear lip liner, I guess is what the marketing is. It very clearly is not something for me, and I was very surprised and confused when I swatched it. And we can see the swatches here. They are sheer and they're really waxy, and they almost remind me of like a lip gloss, or if you were to take like a tinted lip balm, but you know, like the stick lip balms, and use that as a lip liner. That's kind of what it reminds me of, because they're very waxy and they move. Like I was able to run my finger right through them and they just like came right off. So that's one thing that I will not be buying during the Sephora sale. I will say the shades are very beautiful, and I think for the type of person that they are marketing to, I can kind of see it working for that person, but that person is not me. Honestly, I'm holding off on buying any lip liners right now because I am anticipating KJH brand to release their like, it looks like it's a multi-stick, so it's going to be for like your lips, but also you can use it on the eyes and as a contour. I'm holding out for that because I think that's going to be a really great product release. So instead of purchasing more lip liners or purchasing a lip liner that isn't really catered to my makeup preferences, I'm just going to set my money aside and pick that up. And then the other product that Merit released was a new, I think it's like a new lip oil, lip gloss. It's something. The shades of these are really pretty. They're definitely something that's up my alley, but I don't like the applicator on those. We're looking at a doe foot applicator that I actually really enjoy in a lip product. We're going to be looking at something more like the Say doe foots, where they're much bigger, or even the House Labs lip glaze doe foots. They're just much bigger and a little bit more pillowy. This, I can put more product on my lips, whereas the Merit doe foot applicator is so teeny tiny. I feel like I would have to probably dip into that formula like 4 or 5 times just to get my lips covered. So I don't really care for it. And also I did just recently declutter my lip stash, and I have more than enough lip gloss right now to kind of see me through for a while. I think the only way right now that I would pick up like a lip balm formula or a lip gloss formula is if it's something that actually really piques my interest and I'm like really excited to try it. Like I can't stop thinking about it. It's keeping me up at night. Like I am just really itching to buy it, that is the only way that I would consider buying something. Like the Ami Colé lip oil, that is actually what's in my wish list, but we'll talk more about that later. That is an example of a lip oil that I'm like really, really itching to try. But yeah, that's kind of like the anti-haul piece. Going into the Sephora sale, especially now, there's so many new releases that are just constantly cycling. I feel like every single day there's a new release and it's just really overwhelming. And that's kind of why I like going into the Sephora location before shopping the sale, just so I can kind of get a sense of what it is that's out there and really get to play with the products before purchasing them. And it also helps me kind of build my wish list and like figure out what I want to actually spend my money on. I currently have, I think it's like 4 or 5 items sitting in my wish list, and I think I want to just kind of like talk them through with you guys to just kind of really drill down on how we got there. But the first problem though with the wish list that I've built is that we don't have a lot of these items available at my Sephora location. So the first thing that is on my Sephora sale wish list, which, spoiler alert, I got it early. I got this because I received an email from Sephora. They offered a code for 20% off foundations. And I was like, okay, well, I could either get this now with this 20% discount, or I can just wait the 2 weeks to get it. So I decided to just pick it up ahead of time. And then I'm taking the money that I spent from this, I'm taking that out of my budget. So it still kind of counts towards my Sephora sale budget. This I couldn't actually swatch in my location because we don't have a huge Danessa Myricks display. We just have 2 shelves on an end cap of one of the gondolas, which is quite frustrating. So we don't have this at my Sephora location, but we do have the like juicy primer. I can't remember what it's called. I'll just stick it right here. We have that, but we only have the 1 shade, and this is also something that is on my wish list. So I'm excited to pick that up. I want a little bit more of a juicy base to my makeup, and with some of the other skin tint products that I have in my collection, where they do come up just a little bit more dry than what I would prefer, I would like to have a juicy base to kind of go under those. After swatching it at my Sephora location, I decided that yes, that is absolutely a product that I would like to be picking up during the sale. A couple years ago, I picked up the Say Glowy Super Gel, and this product is okay, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for, and you can tell that I didn't really care for it because there's still a lot left, and now unfortunately this product is completely separated. I have worn it a couple of times this week, I'm not gonna lie to you. I should probably just declutter it because it is getting some separation, but the Danessa Myricks is like the step up from this product, so I'm excited to add that to my collection. And as I mentioned before, the Ami Colé lip oil, I have been wanting to try this lip oil for so long, and I really want to order the shade Excellence. However, it is out of stock on the website, and it has been out of stock for the last month, and it's driving me nuts because that is the one shade that I'm like really wanting to add. But I've decided that I'm going to get Smitten because it looks like this really gorgeous pink color, and I think especially going into spring and summer, it'll be the perfect addition to my lip collection. I don't really have anything that's like a super bright pink. I mainly have more like nudie kind of pink shades. So I have like House Labs in the shade Guava, and then I also have the e.l.f. lip stain. So those are really the only like nudie pink colors that I have, so why not add something a little bit more fun, especially where it's a lip oil. That I'm really excited to pick up, but unfortunately we don't carry Ami Colé at my Sephora location, so I wasn't able to swatch it. So this is going to be a bit of a blind buy, and blind buying makeup makes me really nervous, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So far, blind buying this has worked out fairly okay for me. I ended up reaching out to the Danessa Myricks team to get my shade match. Otherwise, I would have not picked out my shade correctly because the model images are quite different to the actual shade. So the model wearing this shade is actually a lot deeper than me. So I was very confused when they told me the shade, but whatever. So anyway, all is that to say, blind buying makeup, it's hit or miss. I've been pretty lucky so far, but I make sure I am looking up so many different product reviews and actually seeing people talking about the product. Like, I dug to find plenty of reviews on the Danessa Myricks skin tint. All of my favorite creators wear the Amicole lip oil, so I feel comfortable in making the decision to order that. The next thing that I have on my wish list is the NARS Under Eye Brightener, and this one I'm pretty undecisive over. I did swatch it in Sephora yesterday when I was there, and it's quite thick, but I feel like you wouldn't need a lot of it just where it's going on your under eye. And I'm a little bit undecided about the shade that I would need. I think what I'm most undecisive about is the fact that I've never had like any type of color corrector in my makeup collection. And the only reason why an under eye color corrector is on my radar right now is because there are some days where I don't have enough time to do a full face of makeup, but I would like to be able to just correct the darkness under my eyes and then just wear a brow gel and maybe a mascara just to kind of make myself look a little bit more awake when I'm going to work instead of just going completely barefaced. It's not something that I would be using every single day. It would more be used on like an as needed basis. So because it's something as needed, I don't know if I want to necessarily bring something like that into my collection, and especially something that's like $46. I almost feel like maybe I need to find something at a lower price point or just kind of scratch the idea altogether. If you have any recommendations, let me know in the comments. But other than that, that is like the one thing on my wish list right now that I'm like, really, like, I don't know. I really have to think about it and kind of see if it is something that I want. And I wish I could have like a tester of it just to see if I do like the product, but it's in a pot like this, so I feel like you wouldn't even be allowed to get a sample of it at Sephora anyway because people are dipping their fingers into it, you know. So I'm just gonna pass on that altogether for right now. I'm keeping it in the back of my mind. I'll hopefully have my mind made up by the time the sale actually comes around, but that's kind of where I'm at for that one. And this kind of ties in to the video before of like my rules and regulations where I'm really thinking my purchases through. Like, I'm not just saying, okay, well, this is my cart and away we go, I'm gonna spend the money. I'm thinking these things through because I want to make sure that something that I'm picking up is actually something that's going to get used in my collection instead of just collecting dust and then getting thrown out 3 years later. And then the last thing that I have on my wish list right now, and this came about from swatching yesterday, is the Ilia eyeshadow sticks. I don't know, there's something about these. I think they're just so cute. I love the shades that they've released for these eyeshadow sticks. I think they're great. And I really like the idea of having something in my makeup collection that is a one and done, very quick application. If it wasn't the Ilia eyeshadow stick, then I would be getting the Kulfi Beauty eyeshadow cream in the shade Sona Sona. But again, that has been out of stock for I don't even know how long at this point. It has been out of stock for months, and it's so upsetting because it is such a beautiful product. And I guess I could get the Satara Sparkles, but that shade is a little bit deeper than what I would want to wear on a daily basis. So I think the Ilia eyeshadow sticks would actually be a very good alternative to that. And the other thought process that I have, and I've mentioned this already when I actually swatched the items, with eyeshadow sticks, I feel like you wouldn't need to put down like an eyeshadow primer. I have oily eyelids, so anytime I wear eyeshadow, I have to make sure that I'm wearing an eyeshadow primer. Otherwise, my eyeshadow is just going to crease and then it's going to look a mess. I feel like with the eyeshadow sticks, I would be able to lay them down without having to worry about an eyeshadow primer. And then that really just like elevates the game a little bit, because when I'm getting ready for work in the mornings, I don't want to have to mess with extra steps. I would love to just be able to run an eyeshadow stick along my eyes, maybe smudge it out a little bit and call it done. So I don't know. I'm gonna sit on that one as well, but I'm really leaning towards getting it, especially in the shade Venetian. It's such a pretty like pinky shade, and I think that would look so gorgeous for everyday wear. That is also in consideration right now. We will see if I actually get it. But yeah, that kind of wraps up my wish list as well. It's so few items, but honestly, I'm really wanting to stick to a relatively small budget. The original budget that I set was $150. I do have $30 in rewards just with like cashback systems. So I think that might leave like a little bit of room for a little extra play if I wanted, but we'll see. And like I said, I did already pick up the skin tint, so my budget has lessened. And I also want to think about the fact that Phytosurgeons is releasing a new blush collection, and I did just recently pick these up, and these are a new favorite. I will be talking about these in a completely separate video. I kind of want to keep a little bit of money to order from the new collection as well, because I would like to support a Canadian indie brand where I'm Canadian. That's also something that I need to take into consideration. All in all, I think for the spring Sephora sale, I've very clearly outlined what it is that I just will not be purchasing at all. I'm staying firm in that decision. And then I think the wish list that I do have that I've built really aligns with where my makeup collection is sitting at the moment and what I can kind of make a little bit of room for where it will still be used instead of just like collecting dust. Let me know in the comments below if you align with what I have in my anti haul. I would love to hear what it is that you are also striking from your purchases you will not be picking up. If any of the new launches have intrigued you, kind of like the Ilia eyeshadow sticks, those definitely intrigued me. And I would also love to hear what your wish lists are. I want to know what everybody else is planning on spending their money on during the Sephora sale, or if you're just going to skip it altogether. I would also love to hear that. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me. Thumbs up this video if you liked it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!